And the winner is... Arctic Monkeys!
That subscriber content, eh? That subscriber content, it just won't go away.
It might hibernate from time to time and sink back into the swamp. I think the cyclical nature of the universe in which it exists demands it adheres to some of its rules.
But it's always waiting there, just around the corner, ready to make its way into your ears and smash through the gated payment system, sounding better than ever.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Benefits such as getting ad-free episodes a week early with pre- and post-show chat relating to the monkeys, last Shadow Puppets episodes, bonus podcasts, watch-alongs, plus helping us improve our sound with better equipment and services.
Yeah, this podcast seems like it's fading away sometimes, but with subscribers, it will never die. Thank you very much for listening. We do truly appreciate it. Don't take that the wrong way.
Yeah, we'll invoice you for the subscription if we need to.
We're Arctic Monkeys. This is Don't Believe the Hype.
That rock and roll, eh? Ladies! That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question. Cheers, dude.
That man just yawned.
We're going to call it
Don't Believe the Hype.
Hello and welcome once again to Don't Believe the Hype, the podcast that serves as your chronological look back at the discography of the band of a generation, Arctic Monkeys. Yes, every week we take a deep dive into a song from the band's discography, and we are balls deep in the second album now. But well and truly, like we're starting to pant and sweat a bit at this point. It's getting towards the vinegar strokes, Dan. Yes, with me, Nick Lee, and you. Not the type of band I want to be in. With me, Nick Lee, and of course, you push the button and he'll do the rest. No, I push the buttons. That's the one thing I do. It's Dan Holt. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm very good. In a very good mood, actually. For a couple of reasons.
Hey.
One, we should say, even this is going out in 2 weeks, I feel like it would be remiss if we didn't wish you a very happy birthday from everyone at the pod, which is me, and then the audience as well.
I was going to say,
sure
you and the team.
All of our staff, yeah. My intern. Yeah. Did I tell you I got an intern? Nothing seedy's going on. Don't worry. I shouldn't say that actually. The current
You
thing.
sound almost disappointed.
I tried, but he's not having it. So it's your birthday, so I feel like we should say happy birthday to you, even though we passed your birthday when this goes out, but now it is. So yeah, happy birthday to. Come on, everyone, staff, come on, get in. Happy birthday.
Nothing worse.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. This is all the staff joining in. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's Bob at the back. There you go. Happy birthday, Nick. Well done.
I thought you sacked him.
No, I couldn't do that to Bob.
He put his dick in my banoffee pie.
No, we're going to sack you, actually. I mean, Bob has
Speaking
been
of banoffee
chatting.
pie, we came to yours last Friday with my friends Emma and Dave. Had a good night watching Glastonbury. A great night, I'd say. And then on Saturday, Emma had made me. I told her that banoffee pie was my favourite, so she made me a little birthday banoffee pie with some candles on top. And then she brought it out with the candles and said, "Don't worry, I won't sing happy birthday to you. I know you hate it." I was like, "Yes."
I did ponder the idea of getting you a cake for last Friday night because it was just for your birthday, but I thought,
I've only fallen over into it.
Well, I thought, A, yeah, we're all drinking too much and you got to get it home, so that's not going to end well. And B, I thought, well, you're having
Gotta
next
get myself
Friday,
home.
let's not milk it. But we did wish you a happy birthday as we did a shot, so there's that. But you are getting.
Did you know I didn't have shoes on when I got back? I didn't have time to get my shoes on before we got into the taxi.
They're still here? They're not here?
No, I had them.
Oh, right, I see what you mean.
Carrying your shoes.
For different reasons.
I was the girl from Why Do You Only Call Me When You're High for One Night Only.
Dirty stuff out. It didn't go that way. He's left before it went that way, before it got seedy. We all just jumped in. If you stay till
Went
4
seedy because I left.
Yeah. But yeah, the second reason we're in a good mood is because tonight is an absolute belter. Like proper belter, I think.
Can I shock you? Can I
Please
shock
do.
you? Can I please? My favourite song on the album, this.
My favourite song on the album as well. I mean, I was going to save that until we did the wrap up so that we could keep people in suspense, but you know where we are.
Yeah,
But I think
I
people knew
can't hold it in.
people knew Certain Romance was going to be our favorite song on the album last time. So it don't really matter, does it? Yeah, favorite song on the album. Reignited as well. My passion for it this week because I used to listen to it a lot, and then I've stopped as time's gone on. But yeah, definite favorite song on the album for many a reason that we'll get into. So I should say the song is "If You Were There, Beware." If You Were There, Beware is the song because you say it. Oh, what about Alex then in the lyrics? Didn't I said the song is "If You Were There, Beware." If you were is the song. He does that in a bit, doesn't he? Just need a bit of hip hop drums in the background. But best my favorite song on the album, and we'll get into why. But I mean, sounds like a good time to have a listen to it. Really, doesn't it?
And we're back to Glastonbury 2007. I've cut it out of this clip, but he starts the clip off by saying, "And people thought we didn't have enough tunes to headline Glastonbury," which is very good. Yeah.
People still think that.
No, don't get me fucking. You can't trust people, Dan. Like Coldplay and voted for the Nazis. Right, let's have a listen, shall we?
Ooh. First, I think forget me if I'm wrong, but it's just the first song where Alex changes like to a better class of guitar to play in his time.
I think it is.
I know, beautiful guitar that is. I love that color, the blue and the black and the cream or whatever.
First time he strayed away from the Fenders, I think.
And then he just throws it on the floor during Live at the Apollo. That's the one time he's ever annoyed me because I don't like it when people do that because it's such a beautiful.
I'm
not
just
throw it on the floor. I know it's cool as fuck, but come on.
I love it.
Yeah, disrespectful.
You don't care about it. I'll take it.
Cool song live. That love it. I miss it. Could still be in the set that easily. It's a shame that it gets overlooked.
I think it's one of them that will come back at some point eventually. It did come back.
They did a rock album.
Stuck it in the sea era. So I think it could.
If you were going through the back catalogue and you had a rock set, a rock album, then you'd pull that one out, wouldn't you? But it was they've got precedent for that as we'll get into. But it's such a cool song. Jamie had some good pecs there. I noticed when there was a low angled shot going.
It does at Glastonbury. Yeah.
I have basically the same, but mine are fractionally more flaccid.
Ring of hair around each nipple, and then going down to the
areola. I love his Yeah. I was thinking if we had like hired a doctor with like a heart monitor machine, every time it cuts to Helders in the clips, they just go like off the scale and then go back down after.
Yeah.
That's the way it would work. You can watch if you watch the screen closely when Helders comes on the clips, my face changes. I've seen it. It goes. It goes from this. It goes from sort of dancing to. Like that. But yeah, shall we do some information on this bugger?
Do it, dude.
The information action ratio, ain't that the place to go?
If You Were There, Beware is the 8th track on the album. We are balls deep, you're right. And is 4 minutes and 36 seconds long, making it the longest song on this album. And you can bloody tell, it's great. It has 49.7 million streams on Spotify, which is less than last week, This House is a Circus, which is another criminal act, as we delved into last week with This House is a Circus being so low in the streams. This isn't anywhere near like any of the others, but there's only one less than it, and that is rightfully so, as we'll get into next week. But it's like second to last streamed on this album, which is outrageous. It's a complete forgotten track, that's it. Yeah. Now I do have a bonus round. I'm throwing convention away, and I'm throwing a bonus round in here before I even get to the rest of the information action ratio. I'm going crazy.
That's it, man. I'm loving this. You can tell we're in a good mood.
That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question.
Yeah, well, after listening back to the Only Ones Who Know podcast, I could tell that we were definitely not in a good mood the majority of that, and it showed. I think we were really on a post-gig depression, like we said, weren't we?
Yeah.
But so I thought this is something we could do each album, perhaps. When we hit the longest song on the album, I'm going to ask you, Nick. You get one guess at this.
Okay.
It's got to be quick. It's got to be fire, so I know there's no cheating. I've got to give you like 10 seconds. No, what's a good 5 seconds? Is that fair? 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
No, 10, yeah.
It's not a hard question in theory, so you get one guess. What is the longest song on the next album? 9, 8.
Right, next album is
7,
Humbug, so it's
6,
going to
5,
be The Jeweler's
4.
Hands.
Correct. Well done. At 5 minutes and 44 seconds, and potentially, I'm not too
Yes.
sure, potentially the longest song of theirs to that date, but we'll find out. I can't remember what the others were. There might have been Who the Fuck might have been longer, or maybe 505's longer. Is 505 a long song? I can't remember. Well, it's not as long as this one, so no.
No, yeah. Oh, that's going to be so well then, and then you've just crumbling.
Well done. You
normal
well
service
done.
resumed.
Well done. You got it. I didn't know if you were gonna. I thought you'd get that one. I think it might be tougher on other albums, so try and forget that I'm going to do that every time, so you don't cheat and know.
I did nearly say Dance Little Liar or Fire in the Thud, but then
Fire in the Thud is I thought Fire in the Thud was going to get it until I got to Jeweler's Hand, so I think that is the second. So, but this song, back to If You Were There, Beware, it is 100 beats per minute and is in the key of E minor.
Wrong key though.
Other key tracks in E minor are It's Britain's Best Live Band, If You've Had a Brain Injury, yes, it's Muse, of course, with Sunburn. 90s alternative heroes Nirvana with Downer. I bet he was a bit of a Debbie Downer, old Kurt, wasn't he, actually? To be fair on him. I like him, but I bet he was a bit. Imagine being in a relationship with him. I'd probably have murdered him too. Is it the 80s? Is this a dive bar in a Southern American state? I bloody hope so, because it's Here I Go Again by Whitesnake. Raise that bourbon and sing along. This song has been played live 267 times, firstly on April 9th, 2007 at the Southampton Guildhall. So first one on this album so far that hasn't debuted at the Surprise Forum gig in February that year. And it was played last on June 23rd, 2012 at the Orion Music and More Festival, which, if you recall, was the Metallica-run festival that they attended. So that is an example of them looking and having to do a heavier set, and they threw this one in. So if we ever got a rock set, maybe, and they went through the back catalogue like they did for this tour, as promised, they said they did, and they did. Maybe this could make a reappearance again, although I'm not going to hold my breath. Well, until then, go and see how long you can do it for, because you smoke a lot, so this should be good. Smoke vape a lot. I mean, Not cock. I'd love to come over and just like tickle you. I wish I could reach through the lens and tickle you. We need Matt Zuckerberg to make this meta better so I can reach through the screen and tickle you through the VR headset. Not in a gay way. He's holding his breath, by the way, if anyone's wondering. I don't know if we established that. I think we've established that. No, he's still holding it? You're trying to prove what? You do realize this doesn't count because you didn't pinch your nose, right? You like Joey in Friends when he says he can hold his breath forever and he doesn't pinch his nose.
I did a thing the other day where it like tests your lung capacity based on how long you can hold your breath, and I had like the lungs of a teenager. It said so. I don't know how that's happened, but they said I've got really good lungs, which considering it's only been like just over a year since I last like smoked regularly. I've had the odd one in that time, but yeah, I'm pleased with that. Go me.
Questioning the validity of this doctor, but okay.
I've got
I've
got the lungs of a 19-year-old apparently, and if the ransom demands are met, then I'll send them back along with the rest of them.
Yeah, did this doctor stitch some young ones into you before he did that test? Because I'm not having it. It was sampled. This song was sampled. Would you believe? In a song called Confuciao by Trash Business in 2020. Should have a listen to that. Unfortunately.
Trash é golpe de estado, fumaça e bomba pra todo lado, porrada comendo descontrolado, presida milico derrubado. Molotov eu fiz inflamar nas esquinas da City, se ouviu falar, ela já tá no fogo, quis embrasar. Quer ver a nobre disparar, bolado igual Revolução Russa, pra colocar burguês na guilhotina, cansei de viver de maneira exclusa, é bala no tanque de gasolina. Máscara e capuz, seu carro, sua grana não me seduz, quem quer sua carteira é o Malafaia, eu joguei na fogueira essa sua Hilux. Atenção, atenção, chamando todas as unidades. Emergência, a bomba já foi detonada e vai piorar na sequência. Trash é confusão, não entra no meio, vira contusão. Trem bala sem freio. Trash é confusão, não entra no meio, vira contusão. Trem bala sem freio. De ódio no peito e foto na...
I didn't hate it as much as I did earlier.
No, it's all right. It's
all right. Good.
Because it's Arctic Monkeys. I think that's why I liked it.
So yeah, but as if you already didn't think 2020 was a bit of a strange year, that was released then as well. So it's a bit of a weird one. A long time after the song to be sampled.
Make some banana bread, man.
Yeah, I wonder if this was born in lockdown. But I thought, as there isn't much information on this one, no one's even bloody bothered to listen to it. I thought we could have a little bit of information on the man, the myth, the producer, James Ford, born on the 11th of December, 1978, making him 44. So a little bit older than the band. He went to Manchester University along with the other members of Simian Mobile Disco. Everyone seems to go. All the great Alex was going to come here. James Ford came here. Jesse Armstrong came here. There you go. Just to name
Julie Walters.
He produced the Claxtons. No, I've got nothing against her. I don't know what that. I just moved on. He produced the Claxtons album Myths of the Near Future in 2007, which won the Mercury Prize that year. Was that the album that had the do 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 do? Or was that a different one? Is that album?
Oh, yeah. It would have been. That was their album.
Yeah. Also, like no, was that their album? No, they've had more, haven't they? No one knows what they are, but they've had more.
Well, that
also,
was the one with the hit on it.
True. That year, he produced the Arctic Monkeys' second album as well. He has done at least part of the production on each of the band's subsequent albums, as we all know. And as we also all know, in 2008, he formed the Last Shadow Puppets with Miles Kane and Alex Turner as both drummer and producer. Their debut album earned the group a Mercury Music Prize nomination and also charted at #1 in the UK. I mean, technically, he gets a little bit of a Mercury Music Prize nod for whatever people say him as well, because he was involved in Riot Band. He did the original demos and he did the organ on Riot Band. So there you go. Ford has produced Depeche Mode's 14th studio album, Spirit, as well as their 15th studio album, Memento Mori. And he produced the fourth album of Everything as well in 2017. Oh. So some of the highlights of his career, there's a lot of albums on here, but just to pick out some of the highlights, he did Mystery Jets, Making Dens from 2006. Good album. Obviously he did Florence and he did 4 tracks on Florence and the Machine Lungs, a cracking album. So there you go. He's got his fingerprints on that as well, would you believe? He's done a Peaches album. He obviously did some of Humbug, 3 tracks. I just thought it was 2 tracks, but it says here 3 tracks. So we'll find out next year, I guess, because there you go. I thought it was Cornerstone and Secret Door, but there's obviously a third one. We can guess what that might be. He did Submarine, Alex Turner's solo EP. He did Beth Ditto's solo album. Never heard of that. He's done another couple of Florence ones. Bill Ryder Jones, he's done a few of his albums.
Excellent.
He did the same year that he did AM. He did Haim's first album, which explains the connection with why Haim nearly were the falsetto vocals on AM. God, it wasn't now, but that would have been very interesting actually. He did a Mumford & Sons album in 2015. Everyone's got a blot on their career, haven't they?
Can't all be hits, can they?
No.
Can pay the bills.
He in Nazi Germany, someone had to work in the office. Doesn't mean they were that bad, Someone had to send the faxes, didn't they?
Someone had to settle the Wi-Fi router.
Alexandra Saviour, he did with Alex, obviously. He also did he did. So this is interesting because do you remember the other week you said that you feel like that he's doing the new Blur album because of his work with Arctic Monkeys has earned him the recognition. Yeah. Well, turns out he's done a lot of stuff that had earned him that recognition that we weren't aware of, like Lungs and stuff as well. But also, he's done like 4 Gorillaz albums. So him and Damon Albarn already have a relationship in situ.
They're already a long-term couple,
there. So James Ford's a very busy man, more so that we feel like he gets just wheeled out for the Arctic Monkeys and the occasional side album, but no.
A lot going on.
There's a lot more here I haven't said. A lot of big stuff that I don't recognize the name of, probably, but it's probably still.
He's got a solo album out at the moment as well.
Yes, well, and he's done several Foles albums, did Jessie Ware's album. He did a Kylie Minogue album in 2021. Wow. So he's even gone the mainstream road, and he's got Blurred album coming out, and he is scheduled in to produce out next year the new Pet Shop Boys album. So he is up and he's everywhere. Arctic Monkeys might not be able to get him next time. It did. Well, I'll ask you this in a minute, actually, because he has talked about working with the band and Alex. He said, "I've known them so long now. I've been working with quite a lot of new bands, but with the Monkeys, it's a totally different thing where there's this deep trust that we've grown up together." Talking about Alex, he said, "Me and Alex, our music tastes have grown together. I've introduced him and he's introduced me to so much different music. Sometimes that's good and bad. It's a funny thing, but I still definitely try and push him as hard as I can. I'm aware I don't want him to settle into a comfort zone and it just become boring. You're trying to keep finding ways to move forward and do new things." He said, "Alex is getting very into recording stuff himself. I seem to remember the writing process for The Car was quite long because he went to and fro with a few different directions. He'd do 4 or 5 different versions of the same song with different tempos, and he played some of them to me, and I'd be like, oh, that one's sounding great. Well, what I'd give to get my hands on those demos of him doing different tempos, hearing like a more upbeat like version of like Mr. Schwartz or something where they just went at a different direction with it. Imagine. It could be very interesting. Maybe I hope when I don't hope because we'll be old and we might be dead before him, but if they do die, maybe they'll start just releasing all these demos and stuff out of the loft like Bowie's
like with Bowie.
Yeah.
The Bush family just like money. We've not got enough.
They'll find his what is it he uses to make Tranquility, that 8-track where he recorded all the vocals. Yeah. We'll get all his 8 tracks out of the shed and just get them online. And that's it with him. But we'll do a pod for his birthday in December anyway, I suspect, and we'll delve more into his side projects there. So become a subscriber to hear that, and become a subscriber because we had a very interesting pre-show chat about a very interesting Arctic Monkeys trivia fact, a deep cut trivia fact that a lot of people won't know. So get on that, people. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing in these pre-shows. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
And don't just subscribe. Go in the episode description to find the link to subscribe, and also find all our other links in there. And you can get in touch with us at arcticmonkeyspodcast@gmail.com.
You can subscribe to one of our several tiers on Patreon, or just as easily on the format that you listen to, if it's Apple or Spotify. If it's Google Podcasts, I don't know what to tell you.
No one cares. No one cares. As we call it in my house. We call it in my house, Google Podcasts. Fucking hell.
Although we do get a little email every now and again that says you've had 49
No,
listens so far. It's strange, isn't
depressing
it?
now, isn't it?
Yeah. I just want to know who it is now. If you are one of the listeners that listens to the
Well,
Google podcast, let us know.
most of them are me, because when I want to copy and paste the episode description, you can't do it on Spotify. It doesn't let you copy and paste it. So sometimes I have to go into Google Podcasts and copy it from there, and then I'll accidentally click play sometimes. So I think it's just me.
I would suspect it is just you then. I didn't
yeah.
know that because I don't know anyone that uses Google Podcasts.
No, I used it once for about a week, and then was like, "What am I doing? Why am I doing this?"
Yeah, I've never even looked at it. I don't even know what the layout is or anything.
That was back before, because there was a time when Spotify wasn't, like, not all podcasts were on Spotify at one point.
I'm not a huge fan of using Spotify. I like it, but I find it the layout a bit confusing with podcasts, whereas Apple Podcasts is really streamlined. I like Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Really, it's the best format, I think, for them. But obviously, you have to have an iPhone. So I do have a little clip here of the band talking back about James Ford. Don't I?
Let's have a look at that, shall we?
We're on in the studio for like a couple of weeks.
It was like working with James, and he's, trusting as a good producer and all that.
We thought, how can we improve him?
Yeah,
And the only way we could figure out how to do that were
An ounce of
James in
sunshine.
California, yeah. So
which is
Knew his way
going to
around.
be a film. Comes out
California.
2030.
Rob Schneider is playing James.
It's by people who did James Silent Bomb. It's really wicked.
I love the Suck It and See era. I just love it so much.
Yeah.
Like, Sound City's a
Yeah.
beautiful studio. Jamie looks absolutely fantastic.
He does, and just doesn't.
Good passes and
we're in
that.
full. Yeah, pretty good actually. Yeah, we're in full Jamie just not bothering to speak territory by that point as well.
He's just laughing. But I do love that, and I love it's Alex's transition from humbug to Suck It and See, because I don't like his humbug look really. I think he's too skinny. I think he doesn't look healthy. Whereas between Suck It, like at the beginning of Suck It and See, he's getting a bit more weight in him, and then by the time the end of Suck It and See to AM, he's at a good. Like, he looks great. He looks bloody fantastic, to be honest. But yeah, he's a bit too skinny for me during humbug. He looks unhealthy. I was worried about him and Alexa at one point in New York. What was going on? Because they were both a bit anorexic-y looking.
Yeah.
Don't know.
It always reminded me of that period where Bowie and Iggy were living in Berlin, and they were just living on like cocaine, milk, and peppers.
Don't think that's what
And that was
Alexa
it.
Chung and Alex were doing. But
No, but that's what it reminded me of, just looking seriously ill.
Yeah. But no, I love that. Whenever they talk about him, they just take the piss. Absolutely. There was another clip we played at the start of this area where they just took the piss out of him and Mike Crossy. Oh no, it was just Mike Crossy. But yeah. Also, 2 new names for the production. I noticed at the start of that video, so that I'm going to throw into the mix for the rest of this era. Craig Silver and Morgan Stratton were involved in this album, engineering dudes. So let's they could be our new Barney. Not a Barney this time, have we? Morgan.
Not even just
Stratton.
not even spoke to the first Barney.
Stratton, what time do you call this? I'm sorry, sir.
Is he just basically Henny Moore?
Yeah. My favourite Mitchell and Webb sketch.
Yeah,
was that.
Henny Moore.
These golf clubs, and in no way should be mixed up with these exact replica golf clubs. I love that. Every British sitcom ever. Shall we?
Very Frank Spencer, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I had to
All
bring him up.
links together.
It all links, baby. Right, should we do some reviews?
Let's do it.
Beard's a bit too long at the minute, so I keep scratching it. I apologise if anyone listening can hear me going. I'm not eating a bag of crisps or out. I'm just scratching my beard. I'm getting it done
We can
tomorrow.
finally make the leap into ASMR, can't we?
I'm going to go get trimmed, especially for your birthday night. Yeah, get trimmed tomorrow at the barbers. Yeah. Well,
Upstairs and downstairs.
well, it is your birthday. You like
Don't be
it there.
gagging 'em. Yeah.
Pulling a pube out of your teeth on your birthday. Anyway, that was vile. Sure. Audio.
Best present I ever had.
Best you ever had is just a memory. Audio Oxide said, "This house is a circus, and if you were there, beware is possibly the band's best 7 minutes to date." which I think I agree with. The Guardian, well, maybe not the best, but
Today,
certainly
though, at that
competitive.
point, maybe, yeah.
Well, maybe musically speaking, certainly I'd say, but you know, we are breezing over a lot of songs by saying that. The Guard, but yeah, 7-minute run maybe. No, because From Rich to the Rubble and Thingy is always your 7-minute run, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Guardian said there is pile driving metal on If You Were There, Beware. So there you go. They maybe they gave Alex the pile driver waltz before when he read that. Yeah, was in between the two. He did do it next, didn't he? After this era, did the submarine next. After Live at the Apollo before they jetted off to
it was Last Shadow Puppets next, wasn't it? And then Submarine was after, in between Humbug and Suck It and See, because Power Driver Waltz was on Suck It and See, wasn't it?
True that. No. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh yeah, he hasn't just stored it for ages, has he? Yeah, that's right.
I don't know, maybe.
It feels like it should come after this timeline wise, though, in my head, but it doesn't. You're right.
That'd be wrong. That'd be erroneous.
Yeah, my head isn't really relevant to the facts, is it? Even though as much as I try and make it so, an enemy's greatest list again. Put this at number 36, saying Arctic Monkeys' world got a little louder in the year following their seminal debut album, and this song goes big to meet the surrounding noise of the paparazzi who would hound them. Squalls of reverby drum rolls and vicious guitars circle around as the band contemplate discarding it all. Their distress is real, their frustration earned. So we were annoyed last week because this house got a bit of a short shrift in like the 50s or the 60s when... Oh, no, 70s it was. This house was in the 70s. It's a bit strange that this gets all the way to 36 because I would say that... And this is better, but definitely. But 50 songs. I think this house got short shrift. When D's for Dangerous was at number 55, you can't have this house of Circus at number 76.
Yeah, I'm starting to think Enemy have lost their integrity somewhere along the way. Their journalistic integrity.
Probably when they lost the magazine. But yeah, more respect on this song than you put some respect on that name. You put some respect on that name.
Speaking of just a quick sidebar. Speaking of Enemy,
just about to go into a sidebar.
Losing its credibility and everything.
Councillor, can I have a sidebar?
Your Honor? Yeah, it's all. It's not courtroom. I
have you.
I just have. Yeah, I follow James McMahon on Twitter, who was one of the Enemy journalists from his era.
Don't. I'm so jealous of him. Don't. He's the one that got to go to be with them for like a month when they did AM, right? And hang out with them. And he did that news piece.
Yeah.
He's the person I'm most jealous of ever in the world.
Yes, fair enough. Same. Yeah. Well, if you followed him on Twitter, then you wouldn't be that jealous because he's had some
just for that particular period.
James. Yeah, just for that couple of months. He posted a picture of the Beth Ditto naked cover on Enemy and said that was his first cover piece that he ever had. And I noticed that Adam Fajek, who was the drummer in Baby Shambles at the time, he replied to the tweet and said, it was a great time, but we knew it was soon going to come to an end, which furthers our theories about the death of Indy and the Enemy.
Yep. No, that was a really cool cover, actually, wasn't it? Good old Beth.
Yeah.
Great tune, that.
It was a great tune, yeah. Thanks, Skins.
Yeah, thanks, Skins, yeah. Thanks, Skins, for giving me unrealistic expectations for every house party I've been to. Disappointing everyone after that advert. It's never like that, is it? I don't know where people are having those parties, but I've never been invited to one. I just sit in parties with my beer, boring people about Arctic Monkeys lyrics. Trying to not make eye contact with the girl that I'm going to try and ruin her life later on. So I did notice it's not really a bonus round. It's not worth it, I don't think, but because you'll know straight away. But Alex had a thing for "if you" as a word coupling in this era. I noticed because he's done "if you were there, beware," and then he's done it on two. Oh, it seems like you don't know. So if you don't know, then we should play the bonus round jingle. I think because I thought you were just going to go, "Oh yeah."
We should, haven't we?
That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question.
Exciting. So there's two other songs where he couples "if you," one at the beginning of the song and one in the sentence of the song in this era.
On this album?
Both in this era.
Oh, it's B-sides, isn't it? Well, if you found this, it's probably too late.
Correct.
Oh God.
I can
Is
give
it
you a
another
clue when you're
B-side?
ready for it.
Yeah,
It's a B-side.
give me a clue. Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't give you the clue because I just remember that it's not the best B-side of this era. I was going to say it's the best B-side of this era, but it's not. I don't think. But it's close. It's top 3, top 2. I'd say the second best B-side of this era.
What if you were right first time?
Correct.
Yes,
What if you were right first time? Yeah. And
Yeah.
he scarcely uses it again, I think, but he uses it 3 times in this era, so he had it in his head.
Oh, that's
Clearly,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
another cool bit of trivia. It's trivia night.
Yeah, it's trivia night. I thought you just but yeah, I don't think he uses it again much. I didn't check, but I can't think of any prominent ones. He probably does use if you. Well, no. Well, why do you only call me if when you're high? So no, that doesn't count, does it? No, I think it is.
A
Yeah.
different word.
So this song, then, I think we've already made clear that we both love it. As we said, it's our favorite song on the album. Which I think, looking at the streams, I wonder if that's shot. Here's, I think my theory from last week may stand in that when this was out originally, before streaming, and we all had the CD and stuff on our iPods and that. Do you think this is like a song that people from that time will know very well and love because it was a big tune for us then? And do you think, like, since streaming and newer fans, maybe this is underappreciated in that sector, and that's why the streams are so low? Because it's a big song for us then, and it should. If you listen to it now, it should be a big song for you, but maybe people don't. I don't know because the streams are so low. But I would have this as one of my most listened to, favorite song on the album. So.
Yeah, it's the same, but yeah, I suppose it's going to suffer when you've got Brian Storm, Teddy Picker, and First Adolescent, like 3 massive singles, and then 505 that took on new life.
Well, no, but to be the second, I thought, like, yeah, obviously it's not going to be up there with them. They're singles and huge songs. They're in the hundreds.
You think that'll be the next one? Oh,
well, not even the next one up, but just I'd expect it to have at least not 49 million, not second. Not only it's only got about 100,000 streams more than spoiler alert, but The Bad Thing. So it's got 200 less, and This House is a Circus. So 200,000 less. So it's like, I don't know. I just find it odd that it's been skipped over. But I just think maybe people aren't. I don't know if people like listen to their albums, though. They just listen to the singles. Like, people, I don't know. They know the hits, but they don't know the back catalogue, which sometimes happens when a band's been out as long as that people just listen to the hits, go back and listen to the hits. So, but that for me, yeah, this is great. And obviously, and although this bleeds in from This House, we said about the last week, the track bleeding together as kind of one song. This sounds so different to This House. They work together, being bled into each other, but it's a very different song. Very, very different.
It's that 1 Point Perspective American sports thing again, where they're blended in, but it's quite clearly a very, very different song.
Yeah, and I think when I first heard this, it was, if I think back, it was noticeably sounded like something they'd never done before. Like it was like, oh, what's this? Because I never heard them have guitar that sounded like that kind of heavy sound. Like, do you think it's recorded that way? By the way, the blending. Do you think that I listened to it today with the blend, and I thought, I wonder if they just recorded both live, like in one take, like straight into it, or whether it's an editing thing. Because it sounds like they just start playing, which obviously could easily be an editing trick. But because they record live, I wonder if they were like, let's do them both as a take, as if we were playing them in a set,
Right, positive. Yeah, it'd be interesting. That'd be really interesting to find out. I don't know how we would, but
sorry, I just thought. I don't mean to be insulting. I don't want this to sound insulting. No, I'm not going to say it because you might take it the wrong way. Don't take it the wrong way.
No, go on. We're in a good mood. You might as well.
I was just looking at your hair.
Down.
I've seen a lot of pictures of James Madison the last few days for obvious reasons because he's just signed for Spurs. I've seen his face quite a lot, and I was just looking at the shape of your head and the way your hair is and your beard and that, and I just thought, hey, you got a bit of a look at James Madison. But then I thought, yeah, but from Wish.
Okay, I'll take that.
I think that's fair because he's a footballer. I think we can put them in the upper echelon. He's a good-looking footballer, so if we can put them in the upper echelon of us. Well, I can see a similar. I don't know. There's something about the shape of your head, or there's something.
I could do what he does. Could he edit
sell milk?
a semi-successful Arctic Monkeys podcast? No, and I think he knew that even then.
Yeah, old Madders. Madders a hatter. But I didn't even know that they posted a video of him someone picking up some darts and so his website like a cryptic clue, and I had no idea because I'd forgot he did that. I forgot he did that. Yeah. I've always seen him do knee slides, so I'd forgot that was even a thing. But yeah.
I don't know why footballers do knee slides. Surely that seems like a good way to
get yourself injured. There is a who was it? There was someone a couple of seasons ago that had just got over injury and they came on and did a knee slide and they were injured again. It was someone for like Everton or something. Oh, was it Fingy? It was Everton. Was it Handbags and the Gladrogs? What's his name? Calvert-Lewin. Was it him? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was Leeds Bamford. It was Patrick Bamford. He'd been injured for months.
Right,
he came on, scored, ripped his shirt off, slid on his knees, and he was out for another like 3 months.
It happened to a county player a couple of years ago. He'd not played all. He'd got the team under the previous manager. Had loads of injury problems. New manager's first game away at Bolton in the cup. He puts us a goal up and then does a knee slide and breaks his foot. And then we just didn't see him for the rest of the season.
My knees hurt. I mean, it wouldn't be a nice feeling, would it? I don't know. Anyway, back to the song. We were massive to that. But yeah, do you think that maybe they recorded that way? It sounds a bit loud to me, but it could easily be an editing trick very easily. So it's impossible to know. But I just felt like because we recorded live, it might have been something they tried. I don't know.
I'm preferring to in my head. They've got that energy and they've just gone right.
They just go right.
The energy's up. They're taking.
James Ford behind the glass went.
Head cannon.
He sort of twirled his fingers and went. Yeah.
Should we keep rolling?
Should we keep rolling? Should we keep rolling?
Isn't it?
Oh, isn't it? It was but this just listen to it was immediately different, and we didn't know it at the time, hearing it and how different it was. But it was the first. And I know we said it a bit about this as a circus, but yeah. But also, the indication that the first strong indication of where we were going to go next in the Arctic Monkeys journey, isn't it? It's the first major indication. Like I could imagine, like I always say this when Josh Homme they were in talks to produce or whatever, and he famously got the demo for Dance Little Liar and played the first note and stopped it and rang them and said he'd do it. But before he got that demo, he must have listened to them to see if it was something, because of what he must have known them to even think about it. And I can imagine him playing a song like this and being like, oh yeah, I got something I can do with this band. I can work with this band. This song's great. Yeah.
Party with these dudes.
Underrated this song because it is, I mean, like if you were someone like Queens of Stone Age and you heard that, you were like, well, this is a fucking banging tune. What the fuck? I thought this was some little indie band from England, but no, they are not.
Would you go as far as to say it's so? Well, we'll start up to this point. Do you think it's the most underrated song? If you consider the songs we've covered so far.
Yeah, because Do Me a Favor is regarded highly, so that doesn't count. This House of Circus, I would have said maybe, but this one's way more underrated. Yeah, I would say so, because there's nothing on the first album that I would regard as underrated, so they all pretty much get a fair rating because it's regarded as one of the best albums ever made, debut album. So, yeah, I would say so. The most underrated so far.
I mean,
but is it the most underrated? Is it how long is it gonna?
Because you can almost
hold on to that mantle. That's the question, isn't it?
So, yeah, because Humbug, I'd choose Jeweler's Hands as the most underrated. Suck It and See, I'd probably choose That's Where You're Wrong.
I can't wait to get to Jeweler's Hands.
Or Suck It and See.
I have a fear in the lyrics to Jeweler's Hands.
I can't wait for that. Can't wait for that.
Big theory on it, which might not hold up under scrutiny, but we'll see. I've been watching too much Better Call Saul, haven't I? The best legal mind of your generation.
And I'm here too.
But yeah, it was when it all comes in, because obviously those guitars at the sound just sound so different. When it all comes in, I've never heard them sound like that before. And don't hear them sound like that again until a B-side. Well, the B-side we referenced, I'd say, a minute ago. What If You Were Right First Time? And If You Found This Too Late, I guess. But it was just a little bit heavier. It does have a touch of metal about it. I would say that the Guardian review is spot on that. Power Driver metal, and I know metal fans would go, Arctic Monkeys metal, cough. But what I would say back to that is, in the same way that when someone says anything about the lyrics, I can go Bob Dylan. If any metal fan goes Arctic Monkeys metal, I'll go Lars Ulrich. Go have a little read about Lars Ulrich and the Arctic Monkeys. Well, then we'll come back
Could direct you to a little known drummer from the USA called Lars Ulrich.
We're the most successful metal band of all time. But definitely the most successful metal, I'd say.
Definitely,
I could be wrong, But yeah, then when the verse comes in, what I like is because it's got that huge metal, like, big sound and all that, and you never heard it before. And then the verse comes in, it's like kind of back to that hip hop sound. The drums and bass are very hip hop. Yeah. Another great Helders and O'Malley combination on this album. Another noticeable combination.
Out the park, aren't they?
For a debut album together. What they're going to do together on the sophomore. Oh, it's going to be bloody brilliant. I can tell you that. I can tell you that now. Not that any of you haven't heard it, I'd imagine. Or maybe you haven't. Maybe you're not an Arctic Monkeys fan and you just... Do you reckon there's anyone that's just listening and like going through it like from scratch with us? That can't be true. There might be someone eventually, somebody in the future that goes, I want to listen to Arctic Monkeys, and they see there's a podcast about them. They go, I'll go try. I've done that with TV shows before.
Oh, that would be cool.
Or I'll listen to that podcast as I go.
Coolest thing ever.
I think that if you're listening from the future, we're both dead.
yeah. Got killed in the Great Robot Uprising of 2026.
Nick's dead and I'm in prison for war crimes. But
you're only doing admin, Dan. It was just admin.
Shh, keep that down. But yeah. Yeah, but then I genuinely think the drums and the bass in this bit wouldn't sound out of place in a hip hop song, like we said before with them. Like considering the intro as well. Can you imagine as well if you're someone like Josh Homme, someone listening to that and going, wow, this sounds like a big rock band, and then it just goes into this hip hop like verse with your drums, because no one does that. No one's been doing that. Like you're either one or the other, and you get different people. Obviously, you get influences, and I'm not saying they're the first band to do that, obviously, by any means. But I think at the time, because Queens of the Stone Age are really good, but you would never say that they've got anything else about them other than that sound until later albums. But like they, Queens of the Stone Age are a good example of like a band doing different stuff on some of their albums and then coming back to a rock sound, which we suspect eventually Arctic Monkeys will. People seem to have decided that Arctic Monkeys are never going to do a rock album again. They've just said they're not going to do an AM again. That doesn't mean they're not going to do a guitar album again. Like, so I fully expect them to, in their own time, go back to a guitar album. But bands that have long discographies do flitting about, and bands that have long discographies that don't change the sound are very boring shit albums to try and get through. So,
yeah.
Yeah, you got that clean reverb we've become accustomed to on this album.
Yeah,
here in this verse as well.
Again.
I find this one like so atmospheric. It sounds so much moodier than any of the other songs on this, even This House. Like, yeah, there's just got this atmosphere to it. There's just this feeling to this one lyrically, and that I just don't think they've ever captured before. And it really stays with me. Menacing, haunting. There's a lot of things about it you could say. They just never approached this world before, which I'm surprised that there wasn't more like people talking about this song, going, "Oh, this is interesting." Maybe it's an example of people not liking them changing because this song is very big, even though it's a belting song. And I think as well, because, and as we'll get into in a bit, but what this song's about is very personal pain to Alex, from what I know about it in a particular tale. And I think you can feel that in the music, though. There is a sense of like angst and pain about the music. I think you can feel this kind of sound to it, like very heartfelt. And then, which again, I don't think they've done, but then back to the guitars on the road, that bit when, this is my favorite. This is, I'm going to say, favorite musical moment, Ruined. This is my favorite part of the song because the guitars come in on their own after the first verse and they do the ding, 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 ding. Well, we'll play a clip, obviously. And then and then they're doing that back and forth, which is a bit like this House of Circus View From again. And then the drums come in, and they have even more of a hip hop beat, and it's like the doom doom, and the drums come in like, and it's just a perfect moment for me. That sums up like how great this band were. Than anyone else at the time. A moment like that. The drum beat is so cool when it comes back in. I love it. I don't know anything more to it. You could just sample the guy sampled the wrong bit for the rap. He should have sampled the verses and that bit and rapped over that. Yeah. How did he not hear the rest of the song and think, oh, maybe I should use that?
Yeah. It was lockdown. It was a crazy time, man.
Yeah, well, for all of us.
His banana bread was having to come out the oven.
I made 6 albums. Have you not heard them?
Yeah.
They all sampled every Arctic Monkeys album up to that point, and it was just me. It was just me doing covers, basically. Do you know what someone should open in Stockport? I just thought about it then because we're going there tomorrow. What would be a good idea? A karaoke bar.
Yeah, that's the next thing I think.
But not like a crowd. I don't like ones where it's open and it's my worst nightmare to go up on stage in a full bar and do karaoke. I've just not got the confidence to do that. Singing.
No, I've not now. I've seen the video of me doing it last week.
That was a fantastic performance.
Of what, Dan? Of what? For the
Cornerstone.
Cornerstone.
Go on our Twitter. I think we retweeted it and seen it. Or maybe if not, we will. By now, because this is 2 weeks in advance. But we'll Nick and Alex is dancing on stage, I think. But I'd like a private karaoke booth bar in Stockport that we could just go to tomorrow night at like 11 o'clock when we're all drunk.
I'd want the dive bar vibe as well, though. I'd want it to be a karaoke dive bar. Maybe a main room with bandioke going on.
We really need to go out on a Thursday night and go to bandioke if it's still on, and just see that. Like even just watching people's fun, getting drunk, watching people getting up with a full live band doing karaoke. We should plan that. It'd be great. And Bunny Jackson, sorry, it is. That'd be cool. In fact, when's the 18th of July? It's not a Thursday, is it?
It's a Tuesday.
But to get back to this, I love that bit. Then we're back in the same kind of verse again, but the drums are slightly more active in this second verse.
Yes,
he likes to do that. He likes to throw in it.
Picks up a bit.
Again, you could rap over these verses, which I guess in a way, Alex, we couldn't, no. Which I guess Alex is kind of doing anyway, isn't he? Pretty much, more or less. I mean, he is singing a bit more in this though too. So I won't say that, but he is sort of rapping all the time, isn't he? At this point, and a lot of them.
I think I could actually rap over it after I gave a great performance of Eminem's "Stan" last week. I think if anyone can rap over it, I think I could do it.
Sorry, I was just thinking. I should say I knew when I said a minute ago about rock and hip hop and then being the first. Like I meant now because I've just realised I should give credit to people like Beastie Boys who were doing that from the
80s. All right,
yeah. I just meant like I meant more under the label that Arctic Monkeys are under, with the only band doing stuff like that. Yeah, not the label as in Domino, as in the label of that society had put them under. But I love this kind of chorus again. Lack of an actual chorus again. Like it just very subtle. It drops the bass riff off and change up in the drums. Very cool, very slick, very produced. I think that's slips into a chorus like a beautiful lady slipping into a negligee.
I never want to have to look at you saying the word negligee.
That's good. That's good in the trailer, isn't it? That's not good in the trailer. I even did the negligee. But yeah, the bass.
That was the worst part.
The bass. If I'd actually prepared props, that would have been the worst part. The bass,
true.
I think we got to give the credit again to the bass because it does bring so much to the song and the atmosphere of the song. Like the way it goes from like a great beat to then it kind of falls away and then it comes in and out. it's great. I actually think unexpectedly this is a strong contender for the best bass on the album. I know we said last week, and we said
Yes.
a favor. Obviously, it's tough. But do me a favor because that is a cracking bass line. But the bass in this is underrated. When I was listening to it instrumentally, and I could hear it more. Very good bass. I'd say.
Shades of A Certain Romance with the opening with bass and guitar riff.
Shades of the that fella that used to be in the band. Can't remember his name. What was his name? We'll get to him in a couple of weeks. But yeah, then obviously after that bit, the everything comes in together. We said last week about this house sounding like meatier and fuller and stuff, like more than ever in this one. Love the guitar riff. The ding 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 ding. Oh, this is the best song on the album by fucking miles.
Oh, this is really heavy, and then it goes.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like the riffs they always do. They always have guitar riffs, but this is like just a heavier version of it. You know, it's like they've always done those kind of like, you know, like Still Take You Home guitar riffs, but this has obviously got more to it. And it's it's like the guitar sounds quite dirty, I'd say. It was like a dirty pedal that they're using, you know what I mean? Like it's just got that great, like desert rock, dirty sound to it. It's like they pulled out a pedal that James Ford pulled out a pedal they'd never used before. Yeah. Potentially it could have been called like Crunch or something, but yeah. Now we do have a first here in the Monkees world, I'd say, for a breakdown to drop away completely to a piano or an organ, whatever. Oh, it sounds like a kind of church organ, doesn't it? A bit. I don't know what instrument it is, but it's got that kind of you know what I mean? It doesn't sound like a piano a bit. It sounds like a bit of a churchy organ or something. Not a churchy, like a kind of church organ, is that? Into it, like we never had it before where they just drop away into one instrument. Well, into one instrument maybe, but definitely not into a piano.
Definitely not.
Piano or organ playing what I would call a very sinister riff at this point. That. Yeah. Actually, that riff, when I hear it instrumentally, it makes me picture like a kind of silent black and white horror film from a long time ago, like involving some like sinister characters mucking about in a castle, you know? So it's like a woman going to a door of a castle going in silence, and this seedy man with a mustache running behind her going
I don't think it is. I think it's guitar that with some fancy
guitar. That is a fucking fancy effect. Really?
Wow. It's not an organ.
What is it live? Is it a guitar and does it sound like it? Right. That's amazing. That's an amazing effect.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you go messing about with.
It's just a band.
Messing about with guitar sounds before AM.
James Ford guitar on track 8, which was not this one. So yeah.
What's this one? This is track 8. I said it earlier.
So James Ford has guitar. Sorry, yeah. James Ford plays a bit of guitar on track 8.
I think he does that bit, the breakdown. Maybe they didn't know what to do with it, and he's looking about with stuff.
Assume so. Yeah, it must have been. That must have been the case.
This is going to throw fuel on the fire that Jamie's not involved in any of the best riffs, and other people get involved in it.
The only
Miles for 505, James Ford for this one.
The only keyboard is Alex on track 12, 505. There's no other.
Well, is that a keyboard? It's more of an organ as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's down as keyboards on the credits.
It's interesting that on the sample and cover websites, and we won't reveal it yet, but that 505 isn't on there as an official sample or a cover.
Really?
But as we know, we'll keep people in suspense. But that is interesting. That's guitar. That's very interesting. That's guitar. I never would have thought that was guitar in a million years. So it's kind of a bit of producing AM stuff where they were mucking about with how guitars can sound early on there. Yeah, but for first time again, what I just think what makes this song stand out is that they never really done anything like stuff like that before with that breakdown, and feels like an experiment sometimes. This song, like that they were trying something, a successful experiment, certainly. But then we have the pause. We talk a lot about the finished, not finished. This is my favorite Arctic Monkeys pause to date. I love this pause after the breakdown, and then the way that riff comes back in, it cracks through your ears, man. I forgot about that when I started listening to this one again this week. I'd forgot about the way that riff comes back in after the breakdown and the pause. It just goes ding, 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 ding.
I don't want to be that guy, but this is track 9. This is episode 9. Give Me a Favor was 7. 8 was This House is a Circus. So
sorry, I said this was the 8th track at the beginning. I haven't deleted my note from before, obviously, and kept it.
Clearly not. I mean, because some of us are on top of things. So James Ford played guitar on last week's track.
We've done 2 pods this week because of your schedule, so I've got all confused, haven't I? So perhaps you should cut me some fucking slack. You're too busy fucking selling your milk. But yeah, this so track 9 then. Okay, so do we just guitar on the House of the Circus? Weird. So does this one have an organ on it? No.
Nope.
So very interesting. So that but that guitar riff when it comes back in after the pause, like, oh man. But I might even say that's my best moment on the album, favorite moment on the album, just like so atmospheric. And live, it's great as well. Live, the way they did it on Live at the Apollo, where they played it in slow motion of them playing the end bit while they had the breakdown over it, and then they come back with the guitar riff after that. After it zooms in, amazing. This is just such a good rock tune. I think it's one of the best riffs they've done so far to date.
It really is. Quite simple as well. When you think
simple
about it,
but effective.
But,
yeah.
Like I say,
it's very. Yeah, like I say, it's very similar to riffs before, but with some different sounds attached to them. It makes all the difference. But this is why they were never indie. I always say it. I never saw them as an indie band. They just weren't. Even though they came on the scene as an indie band and they effectively killed indie, this is just an all-out rock tune. This is no different to me than like a Foo Fighters song or a Queens of the Stone Age song.
Foo Fighters songs, yeah.
Yeah. If anything, it's got a little bit of a better element to it because the drums and the bass in the verses are doing something so much different than just all that rock songs. So, and then everyone comes back in, obviously, after the guitar riff. The drums are phenomenal. I love that it's got the little stops, the ding, 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 ding. And the drum fills. During the second fill, another guitar just comes in out of nowhere. Have you noticed that? It's like halfway through the brief fill, it just wanders in. Like it just.
Just a little.
yeah.
Which, I don't want to preempt my favorite musical moment, but we just have
it just comes, it just floats in, doesn't it, out of nowhere?
I love that bit.
Do you know when you just did that? Can you recreate what you just did then? And I'm going to do what you reminded me of when you did that.
I know what it's going to be. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Go on. I've been dancing, I've been in this place, and lessons ain't over. I can still think. The cover. I want you view into the cover of Down into the Room. this right
What is
here.
it?
The cover of KEB that they did.
KTB. Yeah,
And that's that because at the start of it they do a little doom 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 doom, and then it goes doom, 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 into like a kind of humbuggy riff.
I thought you were going to say George Formby.
If you listen to that cover, in fact, I'm going to put it in now, and you'll hear in that cover that it has a little at the start of it.
Hello, this is Alex from Arctic Monkeys, and this is our cover on the Live Lounge.
But
the
you
same
pretty
as,
much
Summertime
accidentally
Blues
did
as
that
well.
exact sound. You did that exact sound that they do by mistake. But yeah, that guitar just kind of floats in. It's amazing. Obviously, everyone will have heard that now. And then great end as well. I love the end of this with the doom 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 doom. Classic Monkeys end that to a song, that I'd say, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. It is.
Great end to this. Great, perfect song. Great end. I think this song might have sauntered its way back into. It's a forgotten song. It might have fallen its way back into my top 10. This of all time. It's getting in there because I'd forgot what a fucking great song it is. In every respect, we haven't got to the lyrics yet, but it's a shame what immediately starts as this song ends when you play in the album. But like it goes doom 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 do. They think, oh fucking hell. Why couldn't it have been a different one? But I just think this is just so good, so complex and meaty and layered and atmospheric and rocky, but still then with the hip hop, it's just I don't know. Yeah, top 10 for me, I think. In fact, can I have an early hot take now? Is that allowed? Can I have a hot take now rather than the end?
Yeah, why not?
She flicks a red hot revelation off the tip of her toe.
We might have accidentally already touched on this, but I don't think best song they've done musically so far by a mile. Of all the songs, this is the best. This is technically musically the best song they've done by country album. There's nothing on the first album that comes close to this musically speaking. So I'm talking very specifically about like the music aspects of it. And I don't know who the fuck Arctic Monkeys. Maybe you could argue, but probably not. Brian Storm, perhaps you could argue, but it's quite simple once you take away Helder's drums from it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's Helder's is doing a lot of the technical work in that song. But This House is a Circus, obviously we said last week. But I think best song so far musically. Like there's no other song that it's a musical achievement for them at this point. I think it's a landmark. This song is a landmark of the Arctic Monkeys and things to come. This is a changing point that people didn't realize at the time. This and some of the B-sides on this album.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a moment.
We're getting that through line into Humbug, and I am delighted with it.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's it. So the lyrics. So okay. So what do you? Let's just before I get into the kind of the story, then what do you think this song is about, so that we can at least be on the same page with. Or if we're on the same page, I just might know a bit more detail. That's all. I hope we're on the same page.
I think it's oh god, yeah, it's been going so well, hasn't it? So we're on the Reflections of Fame era here, and that's what we're getting again. But I think specifically we're talking press intrusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
The press thinking they own you and all that sort of thing. And
yeah,
he's not happy about it.
He's not happy, but there's a reason. So I would 100% agree, and I think you can't deny that with some of the lyrics. That's absolutely what it's about. I mean, the Colin Minch's line for start, like just to name one. But yeah, the press being vultures, particularly the UK tabloid press at this time, and in America, I think as well. But
I have some clips to illustrate that later as well. So
okay. So they'll stop at nothing to get anything on you or about you. Now I remember there was a story that Alex has told in several ways. I couldn't find it now, but I remember I read it at the time and a couple of times after, and it always stayed with me with this song. So this is 100% true. I wish I could back it up online or something, but it was in print. I think if I found one of my old enemies, I think in the bin bag, then I could probably go to Favourite Night and I could probably find it. But this is what it is specifically about. Okay, so he did an interview with the press, and he briefly said something about his nan or his grandma or something in this article, and then a journalist approached her in Sheffield at her home and fooled her into giving a quote about something, and then printed it, and that quote ran, and she felt awful about it because she'd revealed something about Alex because he'd fooled her, because that's what they were like. And then he felt bad because his success and something he'd said had led to his having it, which as we go through the lyrics, I think you can hear that story coming through, and that's what I think it's always been about, that him, like somebody he loved and cared about, being hurt by something he said, and the press and his fame has brought someone, you know, close to him misery. I'm not sure what side of the family. I'm not sure if she's the wife of the famous granddad who's influenced so much of the band, as we know. Yeah, so it's like, if you were there, beware. Is like, if you were there when I became famous or are connected to me, then beware, because they'll be coming for you soon. Yeah, which is a really good line, actually. So yeah, that's a specific story, and I'll sort of highlight as we go through the lyrics on what I think where that specifically comes up. But so the first line.
What will be before we get into lines? I think we'll do, we'll just
get into lines. It's not tomorrow night.
We've spoken about this quite a lot on in this series. Well, I say in particular, but in this series, the whole nature of fame here in the UK, and I'm sure our UK-based listeners will be very familiar with the tactics used by these people.
I think the US tabloids were just as bad as well at the time. Like they were, like, you know, getting upskirts and shit as well.
Well, I think because we're just a small island in comparison to the USA, I think it magnifies it a million times. Yeah, there's fewer places to escape. So I've dug up a couple of clips that will illustrate this. So the first one is from the Leveson inquiry, which was set up to basically investigate phone hacking and press intrusion. So there's a number, not just celebrities either, but there was a girl who went missing, who eventually wound up murdered, Millie Dowler, and the police were working on the understanding that she was alive because her voicemail had been accessed.
Yeah,
it was by the press.
Isn't it?
So one of the people who put their head above the parapet and basically sued the papers and kicked this all off was Steve Coogan. So it was my friend and yours, Steve Coogan.
Yes.
So this is a little excerpt of his testimony at the Leveson inquiry. Have you seen this before, Dan?
I remember the Leveson inquiry. I don't know if I've seen this clip before, because I don't know what
you will particularly.
Oh, Coogan. Oh yeah. I remember Coogan doing it, but I mean, this is a long time. This is a while ago now. So yeah. Go on. I will have forgotten.
So this is the first of two clips I've got to illustrate things. Yes, it's Steve Coogan speaking at the Leveson inquiry.
There's another piece or interview I would like to ask you about, so you know what we're talking about. It's an article by Mr. Piers Morgan in a magazine called GQ, originally published in January 2006. This was an interview which took place in what Mr. Morgan describes as an excruciatingly trendy club in Soho.
Yes, he chose the venue.
Thank you, Mr. Coogan. He's not suggesting you were under the influence of alcohol, because he says you ordered 2 glasses of wine, which over 2 hours is neither here nor there. Pardon me?
It was after midday.
Yes. Did you feel that the interview was unfair or intrusive, Mr. Coogan?
A little, but it's Piers Morgan, so it's. I suppose it's what It's what you expect when he interviews you. Yes, so a little.
Yes. Well, that might mean a number of things. One thing might be that he's a charming man and he's able to bring the best out of his interviewee, or it might mean something else. I mean, what are you?
The something else is the.
That's absolutely perfect. Yeah,
you know what?
That illustrates it, doesn't it?
The thick of it mock of that it is
Yeah.
perfect, isn't it, in atmosphere and tone and everything, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
also I feel like Malcolm's sort of jokey way with them at first is sort of
He's
like
doing the
Coogan's
Coogan
responses, isn't
approach.
it? Yeah,
And
yeah. Except Coogan wasn't guilty.
given
of
that
anything,
Armando
obviously.
Iannucci, a collaborator with Coogan, we won't be surprised if maybe
And his
that's
disdain
where that
for
came
people like Piers Morgan, I imagine, Armando Iannucci. So yeah.
Yeah, you know, yeah. So the second clip I
He
picked
took
out
a
to
knighthood
illustrate
though, so he shouldn't be able to say anything ever again.
Yeah,
because he
yeah,
took a
yeah,
knighthood.
that's it, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
okay. Or not a
That's
knighthood,
it,
an MBE or whatever. Fuck
the
off.
second
I don't
clip
like
picked
any of it,
out
but if
is-
you offer me sir, I'd fucking be up there like a fucking rat of a drain pipe.
I won't mind going having a look round, but steal an ashtray from Buckingham Palace. That's maybe reason I want to go. Yeah, the second clip I picked is from a show that we've mentioned a few times in recent episodes that this is the perfect companion to this
Oh, yeah.
this album. It's Extras, and it's the Christmas special. Bit of background for those who haven't
I
seen
know
it.
what clip it's gonna
Ricky Gervais's character Andy Millman has basically got caught up in the whole fame thing. He thought it was what he wanted, and now it isn't. And to the point where
Careful
he
what
ends
you
up
wish for.
indeed, that's the theme. And he basically ends up in the celebrity Big Brother house, and probably.
Oh, is it
Ricky
this bit?
Gervais's
Right,
best
fucking hell.
moment.
I thought you were going with a comedy clip. I thought you were going to go with the bit where the journalist is like George Michael on the park bench. He's like, "Done a kebab, fag." George Michael's been here. Where is he?
I was going to. That was my original choice, and then I remembered this, and I thought, well, we've got to go for this then.
By the way, for the American listeners, when I said George Michael, and then after it, the quote I said was "fag," I meant the cigarette butt that he leaves on the ground, just to clear it. I didn't just commit a hate crime, as I never would.
Dead anyway, isn't he?
2023. I always have to apologise.
This is from the Extras Christmas special, which was the final episode.
Are you all
Dead.
right?
No. Oh, what are we doing? Selling ourselves, selling everything. Happiest day of my life. Oh, quick. I better do the invites and bake a cake and get a press tent. Must have a press tent. It's a wedding. I must see pictures of myself with other people I'm in a programme with. Oh, I'm pregnant. Maybe we should televise the birth. Get Ruby Wax to present it. Maybe it'll make Jimmy Carr's 100 Greatest Caesareans. I'm not having a go at you. I'm just sick of these celebrities just living their life out in the open all the time. Why would you do that? It's like these pop stars who choose the perfect moment to go into rehab. They call their publicist before they call a taxi. Then they come out and they do their second autobiography. This one's called Love Me or I'll Kill Myself. I'll kill yourself then. And the papers lap it up. They follow us round and that makes people think we're important and that makes us think we're important. If they stopped following us around taking pictures of us, people wouldn't take to the streets going, "Oh, quick, I need a picture of Cameron Diaz with a pimple." They wouldn't care. They'd get on with something else. They'd get on with their lives. You open the paper and you see a picture of Lindsay Lohan getting out of a car and the headline is, "Cover up, Lindsay, we can see your knickers." Of course you can see her knickers. Your photographer is lying in the road pointing his camera up her dress to see her knickers. You're literally the gutter press. And fuck you, the makers of this show as well. You can't wash your hands of this. You can't keep going, "Oh, it's exploitation, but it's what the public want." No, the Victorian freak show never went away. Now it's called Big Brother or X Factor, where the preliminary rounds, we wheel out the bewildered to be sniggered at by multi-millionaires. And fuck you for watching this at home. Shame on you. And shame on me.
That's where he peaked.
Maybe
Absolutely spot on.
one of the most poignant things on TV to represent this country at the time.
Yeah,
if
absolutely
not
kills me. That whole scene does.
Yeah, it's great. Spot on. Absolutely spot on. The yeah, perfect. And you know what I love about it, because I was going to say what you will about Ricky, but like when he does stuff like the Golden Globes and all that, and he comes out and he does stuff like that where he has to go at the press and that'll have angered people, but he can do it because they can't get anything on him. He's completely clean. He pays his taxes. Yeah. He's been happily in a relationship for like 40 years or something. He's clean. He's got no skeletons in his closet, so he can say what he wants. He can have a go at them because they can't just then find something on him like everyone else. And
he's not been to the island.
well, Venga boys. But yeah, as a fucking reference to around that time as well. But yes, no, that is perfect. And as we go into now with the lyrics, a little bit of Alex getting his little bit in about all that time. God, yeah, I forgot that about the voicemail of the missing girl. I was actually smiling, but in like disbelief at that then. So I wasn't, if anyone sees, I wasn't smiling because the girl went missing. I was smiling because I was just like a. So the first line is, if you were there, beware, which we've already said. Obviously, that is. If you were there, beware the serpent soul pinchers. 300.
Best way of describing tabloid press ever. Let's just get the guy.
Compare him to slippery, untrustworthy serpents that steal your soul. They try and take it and use you and get what they need and everything like the kind of the Bible devil, the Bible snake. Like the temptation, the slippery little bugger.
I don't think I'd trust a talking snake, Dan. I think even if it just nudged the apple and went.
I think I'd be more preoccupied by the fact that I was encountering a talking snake. You got your Ricky Gervais stand up and your Alan Partridge references mixed up there by mistake.
Cross-denominational. Keep showing there as well. That's the three. Completed it.
Perfection. 350 no thank yous and nobody flinches. So and even though people just say no thank you, no, if they're hounding someone, no thank you, I'm not going to speak to you, I'll give you any information, they'll persist and not even flinch to the fact that somebody's told you that many times that no thank you, I don't want to do it, and that's how they get you. They just keep going on. And then, go on, girl, go on. Give us something gruesome. We require your grief. The thugs help the thieves as they're trying to rob the word from a gob and take the source of the innocence. So again, them pushing, if it's his grandma, and I don't think it's Alex calling a girl because that wouldn't make sense. But I think the journalist might be like, "Go on, girl, tell us something," that kind of way that someone like that speak.
Imagine some seedy Cockney journalist, go on, girl.
Yeah, go on, girl. Give us perhaps trying to get something gruesome, or bad about Alex to print. We need it. We need to get that. And I think this line is key on how they take things. They'll the words of the innocent, they'll take something you'll say innocently and twist it into a soundbite. That's what they do really. How do you for that? So this is interesting. So I thought. And this is because this has happened before with you and Teddy Picker. So I thought that thugs help the thieves was a famous phrase. So I thought, thugs help the thieves, that's a phrase. So I tried looking it up or getting its origins, and I couldn't get anything except the lyrics of the song. I thought thugs helping the thieves. Is it not? I thought maybe I'm thinking of thieves and. There's a line with thieves, isn't there? There's another thing.
Thick as thieves, aren't you?
Thick as thieves. Maybe I'm getting mixed up with that. So I thought this was a famous saying, but
it's almost an extension of that, isn't it?
Well, I think because it was so long ago that I heard it, it just kind of has become a phrase to me. But you'd say it about some of the thugs out the thieves there. He's created a phrase that you could use to describe. It's obviously criminals help the criminals. So these seedy journalists help each other, or even the journalists and the papers are the thugs and the thieves, or maybe people that in Sheffield that they have a loose connection to. I'm sure there were some people that were willing to speak to a journalist for a bit of cash, even though they had balls all to say really just to make a bit of money. I bet you get a lot of that when you're famous. People that barely know you coming up speaking to the press and stuff. But Alex, these kind of So it's just these people, seedy people, always help each other out together. Honor amongst thieves as well. Another thieves saying, isn't there? That must be where I'm getting mixed up in there. There's not, is there? But so this is okay. So this is the bit where I think he specifically alludes to his grandma and that story, which kind of backs up that sentiment. So he says, "Can't you sense she was never meant to fill column inches? Ain't you had enough? What you're trying to dig up isn't there to be dug. The thief helped the thugs as they're trying to beat the good grace of a sweetheart out till the point she'll comply." So I think the use of language here tells us it's the nana or the grandma or whatever, sweetheart, that kind of way you describe it. She was never
could also be a girlfriend or a conquest or whatever, but
with
the story we've got, it's
and also I don't think I don't know, if you were with the girl and someone did that, but it's the sweetheart. I don't know if you'd say, I don't know, there's just something about there's something about the way he performs it that tells me it's grandma. It's very more so than perhaps an ex or a girl you're with. He's someone he has a deep love and he feels bad about her, and I think you can hear it in the way he does it. There's there's pain in the words that he uses, and there's pains in the performance. And I think it might be one of the very few times, maybe top 5, maybe one of the few, most emotive performances he's done,
Yes.
even to now. I'm trying to think of others. Like 505 is very emotive in the way he performs that. Mirrorball. But this one, I can just hear that like when he says she was never meant to fill. He's like, she's never meant to fill column inches. I think it's just really heartfelt the way he does it. Like, you know, and then again that you know, they're trying to dig something up and use this poor innocent old lady to get some out of her that they can use, which she unknowingly provides. And I love that she was never meant to like. I love that she was never meant to fill column inches. I love that line. It's a great line. Yeah.
Right in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think again, there's sort of the performance and the pain and that kind of thing. Like, I think the next bit is like the guilt he feels from bringing her into it. How he was the one who mentioned her in an interview without, which I think probably is the reason why they were a bit guarded in interviews, because they learn, you know, can't say something by mistake and bring someone into it without, you know, like that. So, because he says, and why leave her on her own? If I'd have known, then I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have said it if I would have known. Why leave her on her own? Yeah, I think this bit's a lot of guilt coming through about what he did. That was like, if I'd predicted tears, then I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have said it if I would have known. Again, just really emotive. He clearly feels that. Extremely nice wordplay as well. I love that. I think I referenced it before in the pod, but that you know, if I'd have known, then I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have said it if I would have known. Just flipping it like that, perfect. And it works really well with the hip hop beat that they have doing that kind of wordplay as well. At the time, it blends really well. The whole song just complements the whole emotion of it like perfectly. Yeah, I honestly think I think this might be one of his easily top 5, I'd say, emotional performances in a song where you can really feel that. Because I'm trying to think, I don't think there's any on Humbug that I would say I can feel like emotional pain coming through. I don't really think there's any on Suck It and See, as much as I love it. It's much more of a funner album. 505, you can hear it with the I Can Grumble Completely When You Cry and all that. Tranquility, I don't think there's any pain in that. AM, there's definitely no pain in that. Just up for a shag, isn't he? The whole time. So yeah, I'd say until the car, this is the most. Until 505 and the car, maybe a bit of too much to ask, maybe at times. I don't know. We'd have to see when we listen to it, but I'm trying to think. It's funny that, isn't it?
Cheese into that. Oh,
oh, sorry. There we go. I forgot the ultra cheese. Yeah, I would say so. Well, that's more of a reflective sort of weird pain age. I mean, we'll get to that on what that album. I think. Do you ever think with that album, and because they're a similar age to us, like I feel a lot of that album is. Or maybe it's just because I was doing it at the time. The listeners will get to. I think when we do that album, I'll be talking about a lot of personal stuff like that I was thinking that I perhaps put on the album, and it could be bullshit, but you do it. Is I feel the fact that, you know, AM was like 26, 27, you kind of feeling that. But when Tranquility came out, I was just like not far off 30, and the band were like around 30 years old. You would have been around 30 years old. So I think do you think, I feel like there's a lot of that in Tranquility, a lot of sort of reflecting on not being in your 20s anymore and being in your 30s now. There's just something in some of the things they say that makes me think he's reflecting on life. I
think so as well.
Underneath it all, underneath the sci-fi. But yeah, I just think this is one of the most emotional. I could go as far to say that the most, because it's very rare that he would put something this autobiographical in the lyrics. So it was clearly, I feel like when he wrote these lyrics, it just poured out because he was so angry and so upset and the guilt about it that these lyrics just came out of him, perhaps, when he did it, like, because it's probably one of the most autobiographical, especially then it's very unlike him to also tell the story of what it's about.
That's it. I mean, the autobiographical stuff on the first album, it's not just you.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
So in this case, this is a deeply personal story, something that's happened to him, and it's obviously shaking him and shaking his family and stuff like that. Maybe that's the point where they thought, oh shit,
yeah. And before he's mastered,
at one point you would be like, oh, I've made it now.
Yeah,
I've made it if this is what I'm doing. But at the same time, there's just a horrible rancid undercurrent to it.
And it's like Bigger Boys was obviously about how he got dumped, but it's a bit more like after the fact, and he's looking back on it, and also like he tries to mask that it's about him, obviously, apart from one line. So this is like openly, but yeah. And then we hit the last part of the actual lyrics, which is the breakdown, and very different to anything they'd done before, singing wise as
Yeah.
well. So the first line, there's a circle of witches, ambitiously vicious they are. Do you know what that's in reference to? The circle of witches. Do you know where that kind of comes from?
Not in particular.
Well, it leads me to another point. It's a reference, I think, to Macbeth, because at the start of Macbeth, the circle of witches get together and they basically curse Macbeth, or curse them, don't they? At the start, basically, and that's how the books unfolds. The story of the story after the witches convene and put a curse on him. So it's kind of comparing the journalist to.
We've talked before about John Cooper Clarke and how he got on to how he was studying him for GCSE English. Well, the module alongside that was Shakespeare, and for me, it was Macbeth. So it may well have been the same. That may have stuck in his mind from school as it did with John Cooper Clarke.
Macbeth was year 9 for me, and then GCSE
was
like Romeo and Juliet and stuff. It wasn't GCSE, it was SATs for me, Macbeth. And I bloody love it. I bloody love Shakespeare. But I actually, because I know you have your thing that it should be performed and not read.
It was also like the ones they made us do some of the shit ones. We had to do like Measure for Measure, and we had to do a lot of the comedies, and it was I just didn't find them funny.
I mean, I think they do work as written for me anyway. I think you learn a lot about writing from reading Shakespeare.
Macbeth certainly does.
Yeah. And also you can perform it in your head if you have an imagination to do that, which I found out this week. There's some people that don't have an inner capacity to do that. It's like a condition. Quite a lot of people have it. They're not able to like picture things in their head like I can. I don't know if you can, but I can picture things and read. Yeah. Not everyone can do that, which is a strange thing that I found out. Yeah, some people don't have it, so they just don't. So if they watch a film and then they try and remember bits from the film, they can't picture things in their head. It's very strange. It's got a name. It's something like lochromosity or something like that. If anyone listening's got it, right in the last time. But yeah, I think he's referring the sort of witches that put this get together and plot is basically what the journalists are doing, and they're vicious with it. I actually think this whole song is very Shakespearean in the way it's written. The way he's written the lyrics here give me a bit of a Shakespearean vibe to it with the ways this is Shakespeare. I won't start doing impressions of Shakespeare. But yeah, our attempt to remind them of reason won't get us that far. So no point trying to stop them. No point trying to get them to stop. Essentially, I've always seen that. I was like, there's no point trying to get them to listen to reason and back down the gutter press because they won't.
Harder, basically.
And then a bit sad at the end, I think. But I don't know what it is that they want. But I haven't got it to give, and she hasn't got it to give.
Just finishing on that line is just
But yeah, like proper pondering, like what do they want on me? What do they think? I've got no skeletons to reveal, and she certainly doesn't. My nana or my grandma, and it's just sad that you're going to try and do that. There's almost a bit of desperation there at the end, isn't there? With that kind of, and she hasn't got it to give. I can understand why if people don't never knew that story. Yeah, and I can see why people would go to the girlfriend angle, but I think when you know that story, it changes because some of the lyrics you can hear that pain more, and you can hear that sort of the tone and the sweetheart and stuff like that. It just feels very familial, let's say, in the way that he's speaking about someone like that, and like a little poor little lady, scumbags. Hey, Alex's nana. I do have a second hot take of the evening here.
Well, let's have it.
She flicks a red hot revelation off the tip of her toe.
I think to date, this is his best vocal performance so far on both albums. And I'm going to choose my words carefully here. I think this is his most accomplished lyrics so far from an emotive point of view. So from a sort of putting out there some pain and stuff like that and emotion, I think this is his most accomplished one, because the first album is very, the closest I can think of to like a vocal performance or lyrics that are a bit like that is Riot Van, actually, weirdly. But like, I can't think of any others so far where he's put this much like pain in the lyrics or yeah, I think this is his best vocal performance and his best lyrics from a emotional point of view, because he very rarely puts himself out there.
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all. Yeah,
I genuinely think you can feel the pain in the words more than any other song he's written up to this point, perhaps.
Listening back to it this week has just opened it back up to me. I've remembered why.
Amazing.
I mean, I already loved it musically and stuff like that, but really digging deep into the lyrics. I'd completely. Now you mentioned the story about his nana, it came back to me and I remembered it. I think it may have been an NME interview, quite possibly.
It probably is. I've probably got it in that bin bag up there.
Yeah, I've got the. When Tranquility came out, NME did a special that was basically all their interviews. It was like an NME special collector's edition thing, but that's at the ex's house in it, so I'm not getting that. But...
Oh, you need to get that. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Oh, right, so the trainers were a bit too far, but that...
Well, she bought them for a start, and that's not got sentimental value. The NME, and also the NME's like a one-off.
I think she bought me that as well.
She's pissed. She just carry it. We'll hatch a plot to break in and get them. What could go wrong?
I smell a sitcom.
I'll tell you what would go wrong. She'd coming halfway through. I'd panic and kill her, and then that's that, isn't it? That's what would go wrong.
But then at least I'll have my trainers back.
I smell a sitcom. No.
It's called Arctic Monkeys from the Rubble to the Ritz, and it's £7.50 on eBay, brand new.
I see what you did there, enemy.
Monkey's story so far.
Oh.
Every album reassessed, their greatest lyrics analysed, classic enemy interviews and iconic photos. 100 pages of monkey magic.
Ooh, that sounds great. I never read that. I mean, I've got all the originals there, so I don't remember, but I would buy that. Yeah, maybe I'll buy it and see if it's on eBay. But yeah, no, absolutely great tune. Love it, love it, love it. Shall we do our favorite lyric? Or should we do our favorite musical moment first? Because we've pretty much already said what they are, so we may as well just trickle through them. Leave some suspense. Bad sound in your ear that make you get up and down. Mine is the bit where the guitars are just playing after the first verse and the hip hop drums come in with them, and it's just the drums and the guitar for a few moments. That's my favorite moment of the song. Potentially my favorite musical moment of the album, but we'll see if that changes.
Well, mine also may be one of my favourites of the album, and it's the bit where that sneaky guitar comes in with the. I know
I can't wait to put that into when I'm putting the sound clips in for this episode, editing them in. That's going to be a good because it just float in. You don't notice it. I think in the recorded one, it was the instrumental was the first time I noticed it properly. And you notice the instrumental has a really weird start to it as well that you don't hear in the track as much. It's weird that I don't know why.
I think it's the continuation.
Does this have a demo? This doesn't have a demo, does it?
This doesn't have a demo, no. I checked properly this time.
But yeah, great one. So, our favourite lyrics? I'm intrigued what your favourite lyrics are going to be, actually. I'm going to let you go first.
Too busy with the mind on clever lines.
So, I think there's so many to pick from here, but I'm going for if I'd known, then I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have said it if I would have known, because I just like the way it's a toss up between that and, for the same reason, there's a circle of witches, ambitiously vicious they are, because I like the way the words flow, which might be probably more of an Alex thing than a lyrical thing, but I can't pick between them two.
I agree. Mine also would have been if I'd have known that I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have said it, then I would have known, because I think, although we've heard him be very witty before and very clever with his lyrics, this is the first bit of like kind of wordplay, a bit of like clever wordplay, which we've become very accustomed to soon, obviously. But
it's all in the delivery as well. It's like normally when we're picking a favourite lyric, it's just because of how it looks written down. But it's all in the delivery with this.
The delivery and what the music is doing at the same time with the hip hop drums and that. And I wouldn't have said it if I would have known. And then the break as well, and the down, the whole bit. Yeah. But also shout out to She Was Never Meant to Fill Column Inches, because that's quite a poignant and beautiful line as well. But yeah, I wonder if a lot of people could hear that have been affected by like the gutter press and go, oh yeah, nailed it there, nailed it. But yeah, absolutely, what a tune, what a song, what a moment.
So it's going to be we've got a hard landing coming next week.
Do you think Alex said this House of the Circus is his favorite song on the album? Do you think he couldn't say this one because it's too much pain in it, perhaps lyrically? But do you think if he went back now, he'd accept that this was the best song on the album? I think it's hard to kind of dispute it. It might not be the most commercial song on the album, but it's the best, I'd say.
Yeah.
Mind you, he might like 505,
which is one of my new favorite
intros. Yeah, definitely cracking that out in a few weeks.
Yeah,
although it is in our Glasto pod. If you haven't listened to that, because it will be out when you listen to this, then go listen to that. Because I definitely, I didn't clip that bit. I did clip that back in. I can't remember. I might have put that bit in. We'll find out. Yeah, I can't remember. I clipped in like every song. I made there's a little intro at the start of a few of the fast songs to come in, and with some choice moments of Alex's speaking, and then I did it track by track as we speak about them, intermittent into it, and then a nice little clip at the end. It's beautiful.
It didn't do any speaking. Someone on Facebook said so.
No, he just chooses. He just doesn't talk crap. He chooses his words more. I mean, he sometimes talks crap, but he chooses his words.
It's endearing crap though.
It's endearing, and it's like it's crowd work, but people just don't realize it's crowd work. That's what I'd say on the matter. But yeah, great tune, great episode. I've enjoyed this one more than any of this. This being my favorite song. It's been my favorite episode, I think.
This may well have been. This is a candidate for my favorite episode that we've done. You know.
Yeah, listen to it back now. It'll be crap. Or there'll be loads of sound issues. We'll never be able to capture it again. It'll be like the forgotten album, the lost demo.
Shite. Oh god. Well, this just about wraps up Series 2, Episode 9. If you were there, beware. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed it, go in the episode description. Find all our links there. Like, rate, review, subscribe. It's massively appreciated. But we will be back same time next week, Lesbian Wednesday. What are we covering next week?
Well, next week is a podcast first. It's a track that both me and you don't like, and don't like is a bit of an understatement. But who knows if in the interim period where we will studiously study the song, perhaps we'll grow to love it and have a new appreciation. Or we'll despise it even more. You'll have to tune in and listen. Telling the tale of hopeful married philanderers via a spoken word rap with some Helders hip-hop beats sprinkled on top. Yes, it's The Bad Thing. The title almost seemed to suggest the quality of the song. I feel bad about it. I don't hate it like vehemently as much as we've made out. I don't think I'll just sit slagging it off, but it's going to be, I think it's the first week song we've done, I'd say.
Yeah, and a few interesting addendums.
Let's not save it. Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to. We won't be using a.
I'm going to let you handle that. I'm going to let you handle that stuff. What the lyrics are about, I think, like as in the clips you'll want and stuff. I'm sure you can plan all of that area.
I've got one in particular for the couple.
It would be wrong of me to get involved in that.
I've got one of that couples that's sorted, and we can also maybe get a chance to break out a Peep Show clip as well.
Okay, interesting. I don't know. Okay,
I thought you'd know straight away. The Bad Thing.
Sorry, I was thinking of what the song's about. I was thinking of that.
Right, no, just the title. Yeah.
Oh, I realized I should have said for next week's podcast, take off your wedding ring and put it in a drawer. It feels too wrong.
Oh god, yes, we'll be back next week with we've both got 6. if it's making that noise when you take it off, bloody hell. We've got 6 days ahead of us of just exclusively listening to The Bad Thing now, haven't we?
Oh god, yeah, I didn't think of that. I might put that on hold till Monday, I think.
The mood will have gone down by the time we come on to recording. You're not going to
try and get in a listen tomorrow because I can't listen to it. I'll be hungover until Tuesday probably, and I can't be doing with that creeping in while I'm hungover. So yeah, at least the lyrics won't take much to dissect. I think there's going to be many gems.
That'll be a quick one.
You never know, though. I might change my opinion on it. I'm going to give it its fair whack because I haven't listened to it in a very long time. So I'm going to give it its fair dues. but I have always, me and not just you, me and other friends have always referred to this as the shittest song. So,
And
yeah.
I think the band, 3/4 of the band agrees.
Well, we'll get into that for sure.
Yeah. And in fact, the very fact it's never been played, I don't think Alex has even made an effort to bring it back. Bring it to the live setting. So maybe he agrees. Find out next week, folks. Say goodbye to the nice people, Dan.
Goodbye and beware.
Bye. Beware. Be very aware.
Beware or be there. You know you are. That sounds like something you find in a toilet cubicle, doesn't it? With a number underneath it. Beware or be there.
Don't be square though, because nobody likes a square, do they? Bye, everyone.
Have some hair. Bye.
Don't Believe the Hype is hosted and produced weekly by Nick Lee and Dan Holt. The music used in the titles is royalty-free music courtesy of Les FM. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast player of choice to be notified every Wednesday when a new episode is released. And if you want to help us out further, be sure to like and review to help make us more visible to like-minded souls. We will see you next week with more of the same.